and finally welcome to the 2024 Slam Dunk Festival lineup tier list. It took a while. The Why it took so long is that the first time I did it, I was using an older image, and then I found the actual lineup when there was I don't know how, 10 more bands added or artists added. It was crazy. It was wild. I will say though that it was a little bit more tiring than the when we were young, going over when we were young stuff, because when we were young stuff is mostly a specific, maybe there's a three genres, but with this one it was all over the place. And now I understand, with regarding festivals that aren't like when we were young, then there's they're broken up into categories of each band slash artist performing in whatever category. And while it sounds like oh yeah, it's a good idea on paper, because then you can just go through the different categories, it's a drag, especially with some of these artists here and bands here. But that being said, it was fun, and I did discover some bands that I really liked. Some bands I never even heard of that really struck my attention, and then there were some other bands that I held off on listening for a while. But I'm ready for this. I have some controversial opinions, and let's get started. First, we have the Ghost Inside. Now, the Ghost Inside was a band that I always get mixed up with the Color Morale for some reason. I heard one song from these guys and they were really good, and then I heard, I think, maybe two more songs after that. And yeah, it was, they're just kind of not a generic metalcore band, but they're a metalcore band that doesn't really try anything new. Was my impression that I originally had, but going through their discography, they have some really good stuff. They have some really good music, and I completely understand why people like their earlier albums compared to their newer albums, because their newer albums, they're definitely holding back and going more towards octane core, pretty much close to almost hard rock territory. But that's not to say that there aren't songs that that's not to say that those songs aren't bad either. Or sorry, no, that's not to say that those songs are bad. There are some still good stuff from them. Now, I always, the issue with the issue with talking about this band is that I always forget my favorite song from these guys, because when I have to go back and listen to the songs off of that album, they all sound the same. They almost all sound the same, so it's really can't pull it up on my phone, so I'll just go to Spotify. Uh, I might be able to recognize it just by the title alone. It's off of the okay, where is it? Oh wait, yeah, we passed it. It's off of this album. It was Face Value. I think it was Face Value. Face Value has a really good breakdown. But yeah, Get What You Give is probably my favorite Ghost Inside album. But I do I think the first three albums were really, first three albums were really good. Honestly, it had bangers. They definitely had bangers. I wouldn't consider myself a big fan because it's metalcore, and I'm not a huge fan of metalcore unless it's maybe very specific bands. But I enjoyed what I heard. And trust me, I'll have some opinions when we get to like whenever it's the When We Were Young 2025 tier list, because there are some bands that kind of suck in that genre that aren't nearly as good as like Ghost Inside. Now, Ellis Dunes is a band that I really want. Like, I definitely have more appreciation for when I was first introduced to them. Anthony Green is a great vocalist, but it's about the music that accompanies his vocals that really like has to resonate with me to appreciate him. Obviously, I love Circus Survive. Circus Survive was actually a band I didn't like for a long time, but I got into Circus Survive. Obviously, the first Say It Was an EP, and I can't remember if it's him or Craig Owens, but Cinematic Sunrise, that was also really good. And even Anthony Green's solo work and features on like that Cara Cara track was really good. So with this band though, they like I'm between Had Some Good Songs and Wasn't Sold, because it's really not a very memorable project, but it's Anthony Green, so it's like I'm tied between these two. I'm gonna put Had Some Good Songs, but that opinion could change over time. Okay, now we have The Best in Town by The Blackout. Now the Blackout, funny enough, I thought this band was like forgotten about. It's one they have one of those. They have a sound to them where it's like, oh yeah, they released this album in 2009 and then they were forgotten about. But no, I was surprised to see that they're actually on this list, because I heard a song from them for the first time this year, which was "What This Is Why We Can't Have Anything Nice," or yeah, I think that's what it's called. And I was like hooked. I was like, ooh, okay, I like this song. I hope this album's good. It's not that good of an album. The EP and the album. Well, is it the EP or the album, or is it two EPs? The music that came before this album is solid. They're a very interesting band, because they're like, if you like post hardcore, you have your post hardcore, and then if you like a little bit extra, like some like Blood Brothers, they have some Blood Brothers influence. My favorite song from these guys is "Let's Burn City Hall to the Ground." A lot of energy with this band. Now, I would 100% love to see this band live if they weren't performing this album, performing any songs before this album, because they are a really unique band. But that I was really disappointed to find out that this album was honed in. It was by the numbers for 2009. Like that's the other thing too. When you like look at their like the music that they released and like the years it came out, almost everything sounds like it came out in 2007. But this album came out 2009, sounds like a 2007 album. All their music previously sound like definitely is between like 2003, 2007 territory. Like post-hardcore, emo. The great band, mid-album. So definitely wasn't sold. Now I got Big D and the kids table. Like this is an interesting lineup, because we went from basically post hardcore metalcore now to straight up ska punk. This is some good ska punk, like really good ska punk. My favorite. This band really challenged my thoughts on like who I like as a who is like my favorite ska punk band, because Less Than Jake is a really good band, but a lot of the time they're on the bridge between pop punk and ska. This is just straight up ska punk, and I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it's these guys or Mad Caddies, but they have a song. They have a song that one of the lyrics is, "I don't want to hear a screamo kid talk about how much he loves Sublime," and that's one of the best lines I've ever heard. And their first album, these guys, honestly, a lot of their albums are like great throughout the whole. I didn't really have any like I didn't run into any albums that I felt like were bad or hard to get through. A lot of their songs, a lot of these albums are just straight up amazing. This band really blew my mind. Their first album is probably my favorite out of the bunch because it's raw, fun ska punk. Definitely a big fan of this band. Oh, you know where this is going. I don't. If you ask me what this band is, what kind of music they make, I'll tell you that it was like generic, almost like it almost wasn't even metalcore. It was like genty rock, like genty radio rock music. But then at one point they tried to do I forget the name of the goth style, but you know, like the goth style that didn't that goth subgenre where they had that like popular video of the goths like dancing underneath the underpass or overpass. Uh, that Aeropunk or something, some whatever music that is. They did try to do a little bit of that, and they had like a little aesthetic on this one EP that tried to do something different. But honestly, I can't tell you anything about this band. This isn't even the logo of the band. I just grabbed whatever I could find for Artio because clearly no one remembers this band at all. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm gonna assume that this is Guilt Trip. I'm not sure because I don't feel like looking up the logo, but I try 2 times I lost images, but I'm gonna say that this is Guilt Trip. Guilt Trip is honestly, and I'm not a huge fan of hardcore music, but the metalcore hardcore music that Guilt Trip brought to the table actually got me into checking out more hardcore music and definitely got me to like broaden my taste towards that genre. The same thing could be said about Stick to Your Guns, but we'll get to that. Guilt Trip, like solid music all throughout. Even their features with other bands, phenomenal. I like if you like hardcore, metalcore, like really heavy hardcore metalcore, like check these guys out. Um, I mentioned before that like I used to be into Knocked Loose, and then something just went away. I just can't stand Knocked Loose anymore. This completely like shifted everything, and I instantly got back into hardcore metalcore territory. Huge fan, definitely next to Big D and the Kids Table. As Everything Unfolds is the better version of As December Falls. I can't tell you the difference. All I know is that they had more memorable songs that I actually liked and added to my playlist, unlike As December Falls. Um, yeah, that's all. Decadence by uh, what the hell's the name of the band? Head Automatica. So Head Automatica, I mentioned this before in my When We Were Young tier lists. Yeah, the first When We Were Young tier list talking about Glassjaw. I love Glassjaw. Glassjaw is one of my favorite bands that I would definitely want to love. I would definitely love to see live. And I had no idea that the guy from Glassjaw made this project, Head Automatica, which is essentially pop music, pop rock music. It changes now and then. Um, Basically making the indie stuff that like indie, sometimes dance punk stuff that I love, and the fact that it's what's his name, Daryl. I already forgot his name, but the fact that it's the guy from Glassjaw making this music is fucking phenomenal. This album is so good. This album is stellar. I definitely gonna eventually listen to the rest of their discography. I'm so glad that they're back. I really hope they do put out another album because with indie sleaze and everything becoming popular again, I would love to see more music from this band. Solid album. It's so good. Mad Caddies. So if you ask me the difference between like Mad Caddies and Big D and the Kids Table, I one of these bands was the one that had that lyric to them. They're both great music. Definitely with Mad Caddies, I'm pretty much confused with both these two bands. Great music. One of the bands, I'm pretty sure it was Mad Caddies, though, did have some songs that I wasn't a huge fan of, but that's not a huge, that's not a loss in any way. I would I'd still continue to listen to them. Maybe not as much as Big D and the Kids Table, but they were enjoyable. I definitely liked their first couple albums more, but yeah, they were solid. Honey Revenge. Honey Revenge was definitely more memorable than As December Falls and RDO. But again, their music just wasn't. There wasn't a whole lot to the music that makes me want to go back to their sound. I'm okay. We're gonna pause that. Someone decided to bring me food. Let's go. But yeah, they were definitely more. I don't even know if I'd put it. I think they were more memorable as. Nah, I'm gonna leave them next to As Everything Unfolds, because I know that they're better than As December Falls, but I can't tell you anything about them because I cannot remember. Pennywise. So going through this journey definitely made me realize that punk is probably one of my least favorite music genres, and it's for the whole purpose of a lot of it sounds the same, and if these bands don't do anything different or try to shake it up a bit, like with any sort of experimentalism, or sorry, bits of like experimental components to it, it gets tiring. Now, I'll tell you right now, if you wanted to do this yourself, you wanted to go listen to all these bands, the best way to listen to punk bands is by playing. I would recommend like either maybe Tony Hawk or any racing game for that matter. I went back to Onrush, and when I was listening to the Pennywise discography, and not only did it help me with my gameplay, but it helped me get into the mood of listening to punk music. I can't listen to punk music just open, like doing nothing, whether it be cleaning the house or just listening to punk music while I'm on my phone or something. Like it's not the way to listen to it. You got to be playing a video game, I would say, to listen to punk music, or maybe just going out to skateboard or biking. Really, you got to be doing something that involves motion, or at least the idea of motion, to enjoy punk music. Now, Pennywise was pretty much the same throughout. There definitely was some songs that I really enjoyed more than others, especially, is it Your God? Your God was probably my favorite song out of the bunch. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but being a Christian, not your typical Christian, like Roman Catholic Christian, I appreciate when bands comment on basically saying like, okay, you can have your religion, but don't tell me what to do. Like, I'm not a part of your religion, because I respect that. I'm not one of I prefer when it comes to religion as a whole. I don't like the idea of preaching to people to get you into a religion, because often my philosophy is that you'll have your own connection with God, and that will change things, or maybe it won't come It's one of those things. But yeah, I did like the song "Your God," and the hook on that song was really good too. Um, Now the thing is, yeah, I'll add them to my punk playlist, but punk music is just not my thing. So it's like I'm between Headbangers and Big Fan because I did like their stuff, and I do have a punk playlist. But like out of the bunch, are they really my one of my favorite punk bands? Probably not. We'll just have Headbangers. H2O was the complete opposite. Punk band that I really loved. I don't know what their spontaneous, infectious charisma was really fun. I know about this band because I don't want to call her an influencer, but yeah, I guess an influencer that I follow, who was I got introduced from the Washed Up Emo podcast, and I've actually had interactions with her, so I don't know if I would like to call her a friend, but at the same time, like it's not like the same. It's not the same like balance on each side of like being to do things for her. But I did print off and advertise posters for her podcast. So yeah, whatever you say. But anyways, she interviewed the lead singer of this band, and I didn't know. I don't think I heard this band outside of like just her talking about it and her being friends with the guy from the band. There's one song on, I don't know if it's the first or second album, but there's a at the end of the song they say something like something I can't remember what exactly he says, but it was something that made me laugh because then it went right into the next track, and I just that's the type of punk energy I love, and I didn't get that from more serious bands like Pennywise and uh we'll get to the others, or like yeah, pretty much regarding the other bands, yeah, there's really only just uh, Bouncing Souls, yeah, Bouncing Souls, and Bouncing Souls was kind of like the same territory. But yeah, I really liked H2O. I can't remember any of the song names, but I do remember liking most of their discography. One Step Closer is a band that I got introduced on the was it the 20th anniversary of Run for Cover Records. I don't remember. But yeah, the anniversary DVD for Run for Cover Records. They had One Step Closer on there. I don't remember what I think it was the song with Pringles in the title. Great song, and I was really interested in checking out this band, and then with this festival lineup, I checked out this band, and I was not disappointed whatsoever. This is on the bridge between hardcore-ish. It's kind of like post-hardcore, but not your definition of post-hardcore. Like, I could maybe see them play with like Touche Amore, but I went like, yeah, kind of like Touche Amore, kind of. I'd like group them with them, but there's like two sides to the band. There's like your Midwest, well, not that kind of Midwest emo, but like it's Run for Cover. You know what Run for Cover sounds like? Citizen, kind of title fight inspired music. And then you have like your it's one of those bands. I like this band a lot. They weren't my they weren't like a huge like they didn't have a huge effect on me, but I'd consider myself a big fan. Oops. Arm's Length. This I'm gonna put above One Step Closer because this band really blew my mind. I think it was it Watercolor? They have a song called Watercolor that I heard. I can't remember if that came out in 2019 or 2017, but I remember it appeared on my Discover Weekly, and it became a song that I listened to nonstop on repeat through high school. And something that I always remembered is that the lead singer of the band in that video for that song looked so much like my friend's cousin, that I completely forgot about the band, and then turns out that they put out banger after banger afterwards, and their albums are phenomenal. Their music is phenomenal. Uh, I love this band. This band did wonders. Actually, I'm gonna put it. I'll probably put on it. I'm gonna put them there. So good, so unbelievably good. And back to generic metalcore. You ask me what I like about Caskets, I'll say that they're gent. I like, sometimes I like gent. If they make sounds that I like, then I like it. But there's nothing redeemable, nothing different about this band from any other metalcore band. And the fact that these guys are compared to like The Plot in You or even We Came as Romans is laughable. Mallory Knox. This band, I don't even know what genre this band is because they're a rock band, but my specific genre of rock I would classify these guys as is like NHL 2006 soundtrack music, and that's a good thing. Like these guys like somehow managed to sound like different bands but not sound like they're copying these bands, that they like really delivered some great rock music. This is easily one of my newly discovered favorite rock bands. But then again, they were reuniting, so they haven't put out anything new. So I like this band a lot, but I don't like. I wouldn't consider it to be big fan. I'd put it more towards headbangers, and I think here's a. Oh no, I think here's a good. No, I think here's a good spot for them. Beauty School. This was easily one of my favorite newly discovered bands. These guys are like, now that I listening to the lead singer of the band talk about other bands, I completely understand why I love this band so much, because at some points they sound like Menzingers, at some other points they sound like maybe the Gaslight Anthem or like 2000 to 2002 style emo punk that was like more towards like Get Up Kids and Hot Water Music. This band blew my mind on how good their music was. I'm gonna put them above Arm's Length. Pale Waves. This band is a band that I want to give so much more credit to, but they always continue to disappoint me. Their music is mid, but everything. I feel like I maybe would enjoy this band more live, but a lot of their stuff is stuff that I want to like, but then they don't do enough of it to like keep me invested. There's songs that I did like, and their album that I really wished was better was their album that I think is considered like their most disappointing album, which was the one that came out in 2022, 2021. The one with like the Avril Lavigne inspired album cover. That was a good album in terms of like where they were going with their sound, and then they just decide to go back to their what they originally did on their new album, and it wasn't that good. Wasn't sold. But damn it, I wish, I appreciate what they're doing. They're very different from other bands. In like, but they just make like, what are they considered, a post punk band? They're more of a pop post punk band than your typical post punk band. Like they're not like, well, even soft kill. If like soft is it soft kill? Yeah, or is it the other one? Soft cult. Soft cult. Soft cult is kind of like the bridge between shoegaze. Well, it's kind of like shoegazy, but they take inspiration from post punk. Like soft cult is great. At what they do. This band is just like the watered down version of like pop influenced post punk. It's just not that good. Stick to Your Guns is a band that I have a lot of appreciation for. This was before I listened to Guilt Trip. This was the band that are. Did I forget about? I think I originally forgot about Guilt Trip and I went straight to these guys. So these guys were the first, like, okay, I'll give hardcore another chance because their music is really good. I love their songs. But the only thing I do wish, and this is a weird thing to ask, but it's also not. It's not weird within the fan base to ask, is that I really do wish that the lead singer would either have a solo project or make an acoustic album of some of their songs. They're known for like Amber, but their one acoustic song that I'm blanking on the name of is so damn good that I was literally on the verge of tears when I heard it. Like, and no other band can really pull that off with acoustic versions of their songs. Let me find it just so you know what I'm talking about. Is it More Than a Witness? I think it's More Than a Witness. Wait. No, that was a recent. No, that's not it. It's not More Than a Witness. It was. Yeah, it was on this EP. Forgiveness of Self. My God, this song hits. Forgiveness of Self. Listen to it. It's a song that hits hard. And I can't believe that came out in 2021 because holy shit, that song was good. Oh, whoops. I don't know why I keep hitting that. Big fan. Put them there. Rory. I wasn't sold. Wait, no. Rory had songs that I'm pretty sure I liked all of their songs, but they just weren't. They were like above Pale Waves, but as forgettable as Caskets. So let's leave Rory there. Asking Alexandria. So this band was a band that I had their first two albums on repeat in high school when I started getting in more into metalcore. And holy shit, did they ever go downhill. But then they kind of redeemed themselves with their last release, but not by much. There's some really bad music from these guys, but really good music in the case of being so bad it's good, but then there's other music that's just great. I think it's their Black album, or like the album with the, why do I keep hitting that? It's the one with that figure on them. Yeah, let's just not. It's the one with the figure on them. You know which one I'm talking about. I think the Cozy Representative considered it to be like the weird era for Asking Alexandria. This one. This is the one. Okay. But yeah, they had bangers, but no, they had good songs. They had some good songs because there's only a couple of their songs that I'll go back to. Yeah, I'll put them above as everything unfolds. Fun fact: that was the first or actually no, just metal influenced track or metal influence band that my sister actually liked outside of like the standard music. I remember I was playing. I don't remember what song it was. I think it was like one of their. It was one of the first three tracks off of Stand Up and Scream, and she actually liked it. I'm like, you like this, but you don't like anything else that I listen to? That's weird. Okay, now I get to talk about a really good band. Almost a really good band. Yumi at Six is a band that I really liked most of their music. I can't believe they had like a really bad album. Like that 2014 album was garbage. But this is a band that I genuinely don't know what to consider because they're a rock band. They're kind of like Mallory Knox because they also have screaming in there. I can't remember if Mallory Knox had screaming in their songs too, but Yumi X6 is like a rock band, but they definitely have screaming in them. My favorite song from these guys is definitely Dilemma. That song's really goes really hard. Um, and then their like last album was like really like it was more heavier, and I'm intrigued by this band. It's so weird that they went from like pop punk to rock, and then like got a little bit more heavier, and but that's a good thing. Uh, this band like does a really this band does a lot of things better than most bands that try to. Well, I don't even know what to consider like a band that sounds. What's a band that sounds close to Yumi at Six? Because I'm blanking on like how do I credit these guys? Um. Oh, I had no idea. Oh, okay. No, I thought that was okay. Um, where is okay? Here we go. Fans also like that is. Oh wait, no, that's. Oh, I thought this Def Haven. No, that's okay. So yeah, this makes sense. That also makes sense. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. No, I want Don Bronco. Really? That makes sense. Kind of. Um, as it is, because now we're getting into some bad shit. So like, no. Um, with confidence sounds like something. Hands like houses. Yeah, again, a lot of these bands though are like hands like houses like didn't originally sound like what they sound like now. So go radio. These are some weird picks. Forever the Sickest Kids, like yeah, like I agree with. Basically, they don't know where to what to compare these guys to, because then you start getting into like Andy Black. Like really, 30 Seconds to Mars is off. Boston Manor makes a lot of sense. I would group them with like kind of Boston. Well, nowadays I'd group them with Boston Manor. We Are the Ocean. I don't know. Medina Lake. Medina Lake, kind of, yeah. Story of the Year. Yeah, Story of the Year. They're like the what are they? UK version of Story of the Year, but better. Far better than Story of the Year. Yeah, that's how I group them in. Definitely a big fan. I put probably here. Yeah, that's a good spot. Dangerous Summer. This might surprise you, but this is probably my favorite band out of the entire list. I love these. I originally was on the fence about these guys because they wrote one of my favorite songs of all time, Permanent Rain. And it was that's a song to me that basically I say it all the time. Like I try to think about what song got me into like the alternative scene, but and I always kind of look back. Well, I think it was Ally for Cody from Census Fail, but I think the band that kept me more on the melodic side was the Dangerous Summer, because if you like my favorite guitar thing of all time is the opening to Permanent Rain. And when any song remotely sounds like that guitar from Permanent Rain, I instantly love it. Almost all the time, pretty much. And continuing the journey, I was like, this band is like emo for people that don't want to be considered emo. That's probably the best way to put these guys, because they're just like, they're a rock band that they're emotional rock band that is definitely emo. But like when you try to categorize emo, like what is emo? Because it's not My Chemical Romance and it's not Fugazi. So then you look more towards, if I had to think about something that inspired something else, I would consider Dangerous Summer almost had like the 2000 and what is it, 2011 2012 Wonder Years, like 2010 2011 2012, the one was it So Long, the Suburbia album. So this was like Danger Summer was like the Suburbia album of Wonder Years before that even came out. And I feel like people don't give Dangerous Summer a lot of credit, because this is basically the Wonder Years before the Wonder Years. And I have a feeling that I think the Wonder Years were inspired by Dangerous Summer, because if I remember correctly, Dan made an appearance on one of the songs with on one of the Dangerous Summer albums. That it makes so much sense. This band is probably now one of my top 3, top 4 favorite bands of all time. And my favorite track from these guys, without spoiling like my favorite songs of the year, is definitely Gravity. Gravity is easily my favorite song from these guys, but the one thing that really resonated with me the most is and I've never been taken away by a track like, or a starting track, or really just an introduction track on an album like the track that I listened to. And that is the prologue off of Mother Nature is one of the most, it was a track that took me out, because it had it's a phone call with, I can only presume, is either the lead singer's girlfriend or friend, talking about basically checking up on this person because something happened, that like affected this person's mental health. And it's one of the best introductions to an album that I've ever heard. And like, yeah, the transition between going into the next song, it's like, yeah, it's whatever. But like, just hearing like, it starts off the phone call and then the instrumentation kicks in and then it starts the album. That had an effect on me that honestly, like that made me realize that, okay, yeah, I think I have a new favorite band. Like, holy shit, that's a piece of music that I'll always consider when I think about something that really like had an effect first listen. And yeah, the Danger Summer, fantastic band. If you haven't listened to them, listen to them. I would honestly, this is probably the band I would show to, your girl, if you want your girlfriend to listen to more emotional music that you listen to. This is probably the band to get them into, because Wonder Years is a little bit too whiny. This band, fucking phenomenal. I love the lead singer's voice, and he also has a project called Broken Glow Sticks that I also heard, and I was like, damn, like I'm glad that I was able to discover this band, because they're so good. All right, Bouncing Souls. Back to the punk side of things. I definitely like H2O more than these guys. These guys are melodic punk. Like, some people group them in with like pop punk, but they're not necessarily. Like, they're definitely punk with flavor. that it's not too like amateurish like your typical pop punk act. They're kind of like the after effect of what Dookie did to pop punk, or just they kind of encapsulate the energy of Dookie really in general, rather than just sounding like Sum 41, Blink 182. They have a style to them that while I don't like a lot of their music, their songs that are really good are really good. And I definitely like their older stuff. Their more rough around the edges stuff because they're just having fun. They're making fun music and having fun, and I love when a band does that. Definitely had some good songs, and I'm gonna put them above everyone here. Lean on, or wait, it was did they sing Lean on Sheena? I think they sing Lean on Sheena. Lean on Sheena, good song. Yeah, they do sing that song. Lean on Sheena, great song. Funeral for a Friend. I've talked about how much I love this band, and listening to more of their music outside of their first two albums definitely made me start thinking that their last album was really good. And I never gave that album a shot, and when I did give them a shot, I was not disappointed. I definitely still love their first album. Ours is still a great album, and their last album really brought some interesting music. However, their other music is not that good, like at all. Their album, there was an album that they had an idea, but they didn't go uh, full. This one, Tales Don't Tell Themselves. I think this is considered a good album by their fan base, but I did not like this album. I can't remember what song it was. I think one of these songs had a great idea to them, and if the rest of the album kept that same idea, which was, I think it was like more theatrical, I would have been on board. But they just kind of half-assed the idea, and just wasn't as good as the rest of the album. This demo though was really good. Like, or was it the demo was probably my favorite track off the album, which was it's funny to mention because like never has that ever been the case for any other band. But yeah, the one with like the Jack and the Beanstalk, that one sucks. That one sucks so bad that I wanted to give it a try. The first time I listened to it, I was like, I'll probably come back to it. I'm gonna like it. I don't know what their idea was with that album, but it was not good at all. 2007, right? Or 2008? This one, Memory of Humanity, this album sucks. I said Jack and the Beanstalk. I don't know what the hell this is. Cool album cover. I really like the album cover, but this album sucked. These two, this is probably I don't remember which one was which, but one of these were good, but the rest of the album was I did not understand their idea at all. Wasn't good. But I do love this band. Had bangers. Yeah, this is over Pennywise. The Skins. This was pretty much reggae, and I do love reggae, and they make some good reggae. For some reason, my sister, who says she likes reggae, did not like this band and hated every time I was listening to this band. There's not a whole lot I could say. It's just really good reggae. I don't listen to reggae often, but if it's on Spotify DJ, if it's on, whatever playlist, yeah, I'll listen to it. It's good music. Had bangers. Put them above Pennywise. Taylor Acorn, easily my favorite artist amongst any artist that's featured in this lineup. She makes some really good music. Her first album is really good, but her pop punk stuff is just even better. It's like I love everything that she did. She made a really good album, or she made really good albums, and she makes really good music. Highly recommend you check her out. Um, I haven't listened to like Lolo or whatever, but she like blows Lolo out of the park. I don't think any artist like Lolo or Royal and the Serpent. I stopped listening to her, but the music that she was attempting to do was getting really good. So I don't know where I would group them, but I really like Taylor Acorn. Easily a big fan. I'd put her, yeah, there. All right, the Interrupters. Now this was like again kind of between ska punk and reggae. Great, great. Or actually, I can't remember. I'm getting them confused with the Selector, but I think they both were really great. Great. I think it was the Interrupters that did a cover of Bad Guy and a really good cover of Bad Guy. They also have a song called what the hell is it called? I think it had "She" in the title. Oh, "She Got Arrested." Yeah, "She Got Arrested" is a good song. Um, I pretty much like everything that the Interrupters put out. Big fan. I'll put them next to Taylor Acorn. The Selector was kind of the same thing. They have really good music. Music that I didn't like as much as compared to like the Interrupters, where I liked everything. Um, Honestly, had bangers. I'd put them next to, yeah, listen to them over the Skins. Bob Villain. I did hear a bit of Bob Villain in my um, Spotify DJ. I I guess it's grime. I do like grime. I don't listen to grime a lot, but Bob Villain was bringing the grime, along with some like punk rock elements. And honestly, like I like this artist. This artist has some really interesting bangers. Um, my favorite song from him is one with what's the word? I, I think it had W in the title. Like it's not abbreviation. I think it's considered abbreviation. It's it's probably one of his most popular songs. If it's not one of his most popular songs, oh shit, it's not one of his most popular songs. But it was off of the this album. "Health is Wealth" is a good song. Um, it's where's the song that goes absolutely GDP. GDP goes hard. GDP is easily my favorite song from him. I played it for my friend. He's like, "Holy yeah, you weren't kidding. That song was like that song goes absolutely insane. Great song. Love this artist. Um, Again, I don't listen to grime. I don't listen to rap often, but if it pops on, I'm gonna listen to it. Definitely above the Selector. And As December Falls is the sad, unfortunate reality of not being memorable or as good as everything unfolds. Can't tell you anything about this band other than when I looked at it, I was like, "Oh no, are we gonna have a shit TikTok pop punk band?" No, we have a gent influenced rock metal wannabe band that's forgettable in all senses. And I can't tell you the difference between RDO and as December Falls. So if I look up RDO, that's right, RDO. All right, let's go to RDO. And we go to the band. Okay, forgettable. And then we go to as December Falls. Okay. And then we go to As Everything Unfolds. There you go. What's the difference? What's the difference between As Everything Unfolds and As December Falls? Like the I'm not saying dye your hair, but like seriously, what's the difference? And it's so hard to like tell you about this band when I can't tell you like. And oh yeah, and if you want to see my like songs, yeah, that's 22. But at the same time, like it's just As Everything. Oh wait, As Everything. No, sorry. Let's go back to. Sorry, I forgot about December. As December Falls, we go to December Falls. How many like songs do I have as December Falls? 30. Okay, that's not proving my point. But oh, Carousel was actually really good. I will say that is something that stood out to me. Carousel. No one wrote Carousel. Carousel is probably one of the best songs I heard out of this entire lineup. But that being said, like you look at that, like, and even the album cover, like you're supposed to be like a metalcore gent rock band, like that album cover looks like a TikTok pop punk DIY project, either done by an artist or a really bad band. Like it's not, their image is not clear. And that's my issue with Ardio, and that's my issue with As December Falls. Their image is just not clear of what they want to be. And I don't like bands like that. There was another band that was on, or it wasn't a band. There was a project. Yeah, no, sorry. There was a project that got added to the list for the When We Were Young 2024 thing, because I think it was All American Rejects. Yeah, All American Rejects dropped off, and then they added this one band that had like I think one song, and like I've never heard of them. Their music sounded like a demo project, and that's kind of how I feel about like these like, and that's kind of how I feel about like these two acts, or specific, like they don't know what they want to be. But with that band, like, or they get the pass because like no one was expecting them to get signed on to play When We Were Young. As for these guys, are like, well, who the hell is listening to who the hell is listening to these projects? 145,000 listeners. Like, I mean, yeah, Carousel's a banger. I get it, but like, is everybody just listening to Carousel, or are there actual fans of these bands that don't know what they want to be, that don't do anything different? I don't want to be harsh, but at the same time, like I completely understand why people have an issue with metalcore, and specifically modern metalcore music, because you have these random nobodies that are pretending to be like everybody else, that fall into this specific category of metalcore that's all the same, and they don't do anything different. And then we have Snuff. Snuff was a good band that I can't tell you the difference between them and like uh, the Interrupters and or no, sorry, not the Interrupters. I can't tell you the difference between these guys and like the Mad Caddies, because a lot of like they have good songs, but that's all I can tell you. Like I can just tell you that yeah, these bands have good songs, but I can't tell you the difference between them and all of them, because they're all in this like specific group. And if that's how I feel about like RDO and As December Falls and As Everything Unfolds. First off, I hate to break it to you, but I do think that any band with "as" in their title is stupid. Like like it's very, first off, it's very try hard metalcore. As the first thing when I think of metalcore, "as" in the title of the band definitely fits the bill. Now, funny enough, like when I had to do a project, or when I did a project, I forget what it was. Uh, it was, oh wait, yeah, no, sorry. Okay, it was, yeah. So this is gonna make me say, this is gonna sound stupid, But whenever I was playing with the idea of letting an AI make a song out of a song that I written a long time ago, I had a metalcore song that was that sounded like, you know, your typical generic metalcore gent fest. And the first thing that I think, and when I think about metalcore, I think about Clear, I think about stuff like Ice, I think about stuff like Frozen. So I was just like Frozen Metal Prism or something like that. Like that's the first thing that you think about when you think of like metalcore, or like bright fluorescent waterfall. Like it's all stuff that just sounds the same, and it's fitting a bill that no one wants to be a part of because you're all ripping off Linkin Park, or you're all trying to sound like Architects. It's just it really annoys me because the fact that I don't listen to this stuff willingly, or like on my own, but I'll like when I have to like go through a festival like this and tell you the difference between As December Falls, RDO, and As Everything Unfolds. It's like, stop, please. Like either hire me to do your whole aesthetic, your the name of your band, your whole project, or just use like a randomizer on generate band name instead of picking stuff that and copying stuff from bands that are in the same scene as you, and that are, you're basically doing the exact same music as them. But yeah, small rant over. That was my 2024 Slam Dunk Festival lineup tier list. You might hate me, you might love me for this. Uh, the next thing that I have in mind is, well, I'm already currently listening to the stuff that I need to listen to for the 2025 When We Were Young festival lineup. But the next video in works is going to be something that I've wanted to make for a while now, but I didn't know how to do it, the topic. Like, I didn't know like what I would talk about. I didn't know how to present the video. And that's basically being centered around getting kids away from radio mainstream music and introducing them to music throughout the years, music that you enjoy. This is kind of this is in the perspective of like a child and youth worker. So, but it also could be applied to for like teenager or teenage. It could be applied for teachers. And it's kind of it's the bridge between, like, I guess you could say middle school and high school, but also I'm considering that I work with more ages like 5 to 12. That's also the demographic too. I talk about what I do to be able to showcase the music I love, like through playlists and how the kids react and all that. Basically, just talk about a whole video centered around that. That's the next video. An interesting topic. I don't know how to exactly explain it until the video actually comes out. So if that sounds interesting to you, that's the next project for the video. And then there's going to still be more music. But yeah, that's what there is to look forward to. See you in the next video. Peace.